If you missed the Packers and Bears game on Sunday, I'd like to show you what you missed. So right here, the Packers get a fumble. Everything's looking great for the Packers. 1 minute, 49 seconds left on the clock. The Bears have one timeout. The Packers have three. Absolutely wonderful situation for the Packers. All they have to do is run the clock out and kick a field goal, and they win the game. And right here, they hit a nice little slant route. Looks good, good field position. And as you can see, 1 minute 40, there's 38 seconds left on the game clock. But what's this? The Packers are doing hurry up offense. Hurry up. They're not running the clock. They're doing hurry up. They snapped that play in 9 seconds. 9 seconds. That's all they took off the clock. They run it straight up the middle. And you're like, okay, now they're running the ball. So they're definitely running the clock. I mean, the Bears can't call a timeout. They only got the one, and you're in great field position. Everything's looking good for you. This is within our kicker's range. Just run the clock. But what's this? Yet another hurry up play. And they're going to run it again without taking hardly any time off the clock. That was 20 seconds they could have took off the clock, but decided not to. Now, right now, we're pretty frustrated. The clock stops, and you're like, okay, it was third down, now it's fourth. The Bears use their last timeout. But wait a minute, what's this? The Bears didn't use that timeout. That was the Packers. The Packers had absolutely no reason to use a timeout right here. Absolutely none. Obviously, maybe they wanted to give their kicker a little bit more time, but either way, it wouldn't be worth it when you could have ran the clock down even more. They could have called that timeout when there was a couple seconds left on the clock. If they didn't run hurry up offense earlier and they just ran the clock like any normal NFL team would have done, then the Bears would have been forced to use their last and final timeout after that third down. Now, here's the Bears. They make a completely awful kick return, putting them in terrible position, and they really have no chance of winning this unless the Packers do something like this, a horse collar tackle. Now, Caleb Williams looks like he's about to slide out of bounds, so it was completely unnecessary to do that, just giving them yards. Now, the very next play, Caleb Williams makes an absolutely excellent throw on the sidelines and a beautiful catch. Look at that. You can't even be mad. That's just good football right there. The very next play, Kyler Murray runs it up the middle, and he goes to the ground. The Bears are forced to use their last and final timeout, so they have no more timeouts on the clock. Now, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. 15 seconds, they still have 15 yards to go. But look at this, kind of a strange lineup. They come out here, the Packers use a timeout to try and come back out and readjust. Let's see how they readjust. Look at this defensive lineup. Quite ridiculous. I'll freeze frame it here. Just super ridiculous. They got three corners stacked on top of each other, and they're playing deep. Why play deep in this scenario? They only need 15 yards to win the game, and that is exactly what they do. They get right to the field goal line, which would have never happened if they were just playing closer. Maybe the Packers thought that they wouldn't have enough time to make the yards and get down and spike it, but look, ample time, 2 seconds on the clock. Let's go back to this defensive setup. The way they're defending it is just all on the outskirts and deep, leaving an absolutely massive gaping hole for yards right in the middle of the field, and that's exactly what happens. Now we move on to the kick, and here we are waiting for Matt LaFleur to ice the kicker, and we're waiting, and he never does it, and the kick goes straight through the uprights. Kind of strange that he doesn't ice the kicker, even though he does have a timeout left and has, plenty time to do so. Considering that just the week before against Minnesota, this was his reaction when the refs did not call his timeout when he did it. Kind of strange to be so frustrated not being able to ice the kicker 1 week, and then the next week not even attempt to. I honestly think that Matt LaFleur didn't even want to win this game.